Nile, always great to have you on the program, especially
My
today.
pleasure.
So you heard
Thank you
John
very much.
Roberts just kind of setting up the news from that news conference, but it's wider than just what happened in that room today. This has repercussions for the future. So talk to me about the relationship between the United States and England as it stands.
Well, firstly, I have to say I think that President Trump's state visit to the United Kingdom has been a great success so far. Everything has, moved like clockwork. I think that President Trump has done a terrific job here in London. And I have to say the U.S.-U.K. special relationship really is the most powerful partnership and alliance the world has ever seen. And it is a tremendous force for liberty and for freedom. It is the beating heart of the free world. And so it's great to see the U.S. president on the ground here in London advancing that relationship. But certainly I think that President Trump is looking beyond Theresa May, who officially resigns on Friday this week, and we'll see a new Conservative British Prime Minister in place by the end of July. And so he had a very clear message today on Brexit, on a U.S.-U.K. free trade deal, on several fronts, really, I think, appealing to the next British Prime Minister, sending the message that the United States wants to stand shoulder to shoulder with the United Kingdom in advancing Brexit and in advancing a U.S.-U.K. free trade agreement as well.
All right, I have a couple of questions for you. One is the phrase special relationship, and if people are kind of watching for nuances, Steve Hilton and I, who used to work for David Cameron back in his day, and I were talking on the couch on Outnumbered in one of the commercials, and I said, well, did President Obama ever call it a special relationship? And according to Steve, no, and there was a real political break. What is that about, and are we back where we were or in a new place at this point?
Well, the special relationship goes back to the dark days of World War II, when Great Britain and the United States stood alone together, of course, with key Commonwealth allies fighting against the tyranny of Nazi Germany. And so it dates back to those days of Churchill and Roosevelt. And I think that the special relationship has sort of ebbed and flowed at various stages, but it has endured. And I would say right now, that you do have a very strong special relationship in place. Under Barack Obama, the relationship was significantly weakened. After all, he was a president who was very dismissive of Britain. He was also a president who warned Britain ahead of the Brexit referendum that the British people would be at the back of the queue for a free trade deal. President Trump's message is that Britain is right at the front of the queue for a free trade agreement. A very, very different approach. And you now have with President Trump, I think, the most pro-British U.S. president since Ronald Reagan. And I think also that with a new Conservative Prime Minister coming in, likely to be a Brexiteer, possibly Boris Johnson, the front runner right now, you're going to have a very, very strong special relationship in place. And certainly I think the president is fully committed to advancing the special relationship. And it is absolutely vital, I think, to not only maintain that alliance in place, but also to advance it, to strengthen it.
I want to step in because I want to get this question in, because the president has been asked about whom he would like to see step up and take that new prime minister job. Talk to me about a couple of the candidates who we know are on the horizon here, and what makes for a good relationship, particularly with the United States and its leadership in Great Britain in that position.
Well, I think that you have several candidates actually running for the Conservative Party leadership who are very strong supporters of the special relationship. I think the most prominent candidate certainly is Boris Johnson, the former mayor of London, also the former foreign secretary. He's someone who has struck up a very good relationship actually with President Trump. He is a big admirer of Margaret Thatcher, of Winston Churchill, someone who I think will certainly work very, very closely with the United States. Other key contenders include Michael Gove, the current Environment Secretary. You also have Dominic Raab, the former Brexit Secretary. You have actually a total of about 12 candidates right now. But without a doubt, I think Boris Johnson is the clear front runner. He's also a very charismatic figure, and he's a very strong supporter of Brexit, including the possibility of a no-deal Brexit. And President Trump has strongly backed the idea of a no-deal Brexit, actually, so we could well see that on October 31st. But I think the future does look bright, actually, for the special relationship with regard to the next Prime Minister.
And you've said it several times. It's interesting to get the history on that special relationship as we move forward. Nile Gardiner, thank you very much.
My pleasure.